All right, everybody, welcome back. We've got our second match of the day of EU Open Division EMEA, if you will. It's Vox Nihili versus Oblivione. It's not the match that we thought we were going to be bringing you, but it's the one that you wanted. Is both these teams both coming off of reverse sweeps. It's going to be a really exciting one, and I know it's the one that you wanted to see. Moxie, why is that?
Okay, so looking at Vox Nihili in action, I think this team are gonna push Oblivione to the absolute brink and maybe even past it. We could be looking at another 5-map series of the Daedor, and that makes me so excited. I don't know if you've seen Oblivione in action, but these guys have some really stellar names to their roster. Fi is such a standout on that DPS. And the supports and tank lineup, they're no slouch either. They are so good in the situations when it's needed. The tanks can stay alive for what seems like forever, and the supports, the positioning, the clutch ultimates that have been coming through to save the team. I really do think it's going to be what a match to watch.
Yeah, and already hopping into it, Vox and Healy had a great showing in their previous game. I think the players to really point out on their side have got to be Pingu as well as Eden. Their DPS lineup really showed up to play there. Eden came in clutch multiple times, especially on the last map, Ilios Lighthouse. I can name 2 points in which he single-handedly just won fights for them, finding 3 picks in just a short amount of time. And I'd love to see him do it again as we load into Busan here. Interesting map, and it's the one that Vox and Healy had a lot of trouble on in their previous game. So what do you think they need to change coming off of that loss on this particular map?
Well, they are looking like they're going to be coming out on the same composition that they showed. Mr. Akisle is going to be on the Winston MKZ on that Hammond, and again, Sombra in play. But Oblivione, they seem like they're going to be getting to that point just a little bit faster. Fight on that Symmetra, going to be for just that early out of spawn door teleporter. So if Fox and Healy want to be able to sweep the rug away from this team, they have to get in so quickly and make sure that they focus down all of those turrets before they properly start moving on to targets.
It's actually going to be interesting to see who gets here first, because the Ana Lucio locked in. No, they swap over to the Brigitte, and so both teams locking in the Ana Brigitte here to try and take this fight as quickly as possible. Now, both in this drum room, just fighting for as much pressure as they can get, but nobody's going to be going down. There's a lot of health going in for both these sides. NKZ, the first man to commit, though, to the dive. Hack goes down onto Aki, and that might just be enough to pressure them away, but there's so little damage on these dive compositions that they really struggle to get anything. And Eden sends himself off the map!
Yeah,
That's immediate an advantage.
Yeah, that is immediately an advantage to Oblivione, and they are going to absolutely push that one as far as they can. The point has been unlocked. Oblivione will be picking that up. A little bit of a mishap on the side of Vox Nihili's Tracer, but they have been building up this pulse bomb. Should hit it before fight, and if they can land it onto Slay, that is going to open things up for the team. Kara, though, is going to be looking to peel for that support. This Tracer has to be so careful, or they might find that skull just bashed in with a break shield.
Yeah, Oblivione having a little bit of trouble making their way in onto the point now. Vox and Healy has pretty solid map control right now, but the ultimates are going to start to come up. Fi has the pulse bomb, drops it, doesn't find anybody. Slay uses that nano boost. Eden, though, has a pulse bomb of his own, but it's Magic finally taking out Froakie Dude, and that's the first kill that was not by the player themselves. Make it a second one. Froakie Dude goes down. Nat as well. The healing all gone now here for Vox and Healy as they are forced to back off.
Yeah, and Oblivione, they've still been in control of this point. In fact, they have a couple of things that could just shut it immediately down for when Vox and Healy try to come in for this next approach. One of those being that EMP. Yes, NKC has those hamster mines, but if they pop it before EMP comes down, well, the EMP can just hack them all out.
Yeah, and that's a huge threat coming in. Cloud is all the way up. Pingu only at 69%, and it's Mezic finding the first kill on a Nat without the EMP being required. Pops his Primal Rage, but that's a small price to pay now, as they just back right up the point. The mines dropped on point. A little bit curious here, as I think it was just to dissuade the opposing Hammond from really doing anything, but now they've got themselves a solid lead. 65% is a nice chunk of change on this map.
Yeah, NKZ tried to go for the support lineup of Oblivione and very quickly regretted that choice. Found some hamster mines, a Sombra and an Ana just ready and waiting to send him back to spawn. I don't think he'll be doing that anytime soon. Both of these teams still in control of EMP, but Vox and Healy will have a leg up in this next fight because they have a couple more things to eke out when it comes to that cleanup. They do have to move in soon, though. 86%, it is approaching that final fight territory for this team.
And there it is, it's Vox and Healy opting for the engage, looking to take out this Wrecking Ball, and they will find him. Fi as well for their troubles, but now it's the EMP coming out of EXO. And they're in it for blood. Cloud takes out Eden. They need to find more kills off this, though. The rally's gonna be used out of Kara as well as a nano boost. Mezik, they're fighting for this point right now. It's Oblivione who are not in the driver's seat. The Primal Rage trying to keep himself alive. The nice Pulse Bomb takes out NKZ, and they are just trying to hold on to this point. Oblivione looking really strong right now. Eden finds one on a Mezik, though. Vox and Nihili are not out of this right now. It's just a large start point. That's what we see out of these dive compositions, as they have so much point potential. Just get back as quickly as they can. Pingu comes back on the soldier. NKZ finally back. A nice anti-nade, though, lands down on 2 people, and that could be the kills that Oblivione need to close this one out.
Yeah, they just need to deal with a nanoed hamster. This is going to be so hard, but they do have that Sombra there, ready to hack him out, so no spin to win today.
Yeah, and the point taken already here by Vox and Nihili, and it's just not enough to take it back. And that's this Wrecking Ball Winston composition. They can stagger for so long. Oblivione still not done with it. NKZ goes down for his troubles, and there's so many ultimates on the board, and Cloud has an EMP if they want to try and close one out. Mezik forced to use his Primal Rage, and he finds one on the Eden, and there's just nobody closing this fight out, and so that might be enough. The self-destruct goes down. The Brigitte not taking out 3 members, still alive on point here for Oblivione, and nothing able to be sealed. A nice anti-nade onto NKZ means the tank goes down. Aki could be the next man, and this overtime will take down in just a single moment. If they step on for just a little bit too long, that could be the end of this map. But Mezik takes out Eden, and the main tank going down. That can't touch in time, and finally 100% ticks over in favor of Oblivione.
So nothing to be sealed was really the name of that last fight for Vox and Nihili, because they swapped. They had a soldier instead of a Sombra. They weren't building up to a win condition ultimate that would immediately swing things in their favor. They didn't have the EMP coming online. Primal is only going to keep you alive for so long. It's just a delayer rather than a finisher. Whereas Oblivione, they still had the Sombra in play. They had an EMP that they were just able to pull out of their pocket whenever they felt like it. Beautiful as well, keeping the Sombra there, making sure that the stagger with the Hammond can't go on. We see so many teams go for that spin to win, but when there's the Sombra to hack the hamster out, it becomes much more of a spin to whimper.
That's exactly what it is. And now, moving on to the next map, we're going to see pretty much the exact same compositions come out. However, Fi loading in on the Symmetra, which is a pretty interesting pick. It's going to demand a lot of point presence, but you got to get there first. No, just for the rollout, actually. He swaps back on the Tracer, so mirroring comps coming out from both these teams. And so NKZ being found out by the Tracer. It's Fi, though, in the backline is getting a lot of value, but the Winston game is, I think, what's going to matter here. Who can get their Primal up first? As Aki and Mezik are pretty much dead, even in ultimate charge. The fight just stuck in neutral, and it's exactly what we saw last time. Nobody dying. Cloud, though, gets hacked by Pingu. He thought he was safe, but no, getting found out, and that's going to be a pretty big disparage as now Oblivione look to make their way in towards the point.
Yeah, but no one has picked it up just yet. Vox and Nihili are trying to get that flip going in their favor. They have the advantage of bodies on it, and they will manage to get it going just now. Nat is on this Moira, and Slay on the other side is on the Ana, so it's going to be Nana versus Coalescence. Which one's going to find more value?
Yeah, Renee and the rest of Oblivione just can't find the disengage they need now. It's a Nano Brigitte to try and buy him space, but a nice hack is going to put an end to that one. Cloud takes out Pingu as well as Mezik and Kara going down on the opposite end. It's trying to close up. Vox and Nihili doing a great job.
So it's very interesting that you have this Moira coming out from Vox and Nihili, because Coalescence can be shut down by a Sombra, but Sombra can be shut down by a Moira. Remember, that hack gets cancelled out if the Sombra takes at all any damage, and Moira players will know it's auto-lock aim. You don't need to worry about connecting a bullet onto the head to just cancel that one out immediately.
Yeah, and it's an interesting engage that's going to have to be had here. Kara has that Brigitte ultimate, but not much to follow it up. Meanwhile, on the opposite end, they're facing 2 tank ultimates coming out from the side of Vox and Nihili. It's just going to be difficult to counter them, and Frogidu takes out Mezik as well as Rene. Pingu for their troubles, but there's not much else to be had here as the tanks are just rolling over the entirety of Oblivione.
Cloud is building up to that EMP, will have it for this next fight, but so will Pingu. And this is where you start looking at running that Brigitte instead of that Lucio. You're not going to have a sound barrier if you're Oblivione.
And now pushing onto the point, it's going to be Oblivione. Finally, with a little bit of control, they will be able to get the tick over here. Pingu should be going down in time, and with a pretty nice little chunk of ultimates to hold on to, Oblivione are in their way to a good hold.
But their win condition now is shutting down Froakie. That Soundfire cannot be there to save Vox Nihili when the EMP comes through. So Fi, you might see just try to badger out that Lucio one-on-one to try to make him pop that sound barrier early. And the Lucio on the other side, he's going to be playing hard to get. He doesn't want to get hacked out.
I'm not sure what that EMP was coming out from Pingu. However, I think they were just going to guarantee themselves a singular pick, and now they look to push in on top of it. The sound barrier used as well as the coalescence coming out from Nat is going to be a lot of damage and healing, gaining Ex Oblivione a few players right now. Car and Slay maybe getting a little bit too overconfident now, pushing in on top of that, and all of a sudden Vox and Nihili are in the driver's seat of this fight. They have a massive ultimate advantage as well moving into the next round.
Yeah, but Cloud will be coming in with this EMP. This is the storm that Vox and Nihili have to weather, though, because Ex Oblivione can just flip it if they so choose. The EMP can come out, Rene can drop that bomb in, there will be no shielding up and available for Vox and Nihili if any of those tanks get caught up in that radius, because they're running the Winston. That's a bubble. You have to be ready to duck and hide for cover.
Yeah, and making their way onto the point, like you mentioned, it's Ex Oblivione with a barrage of ultimates, but they're held in by the mines coming out from NKZ. It's overtime now, though. Rene's the one to touch, as well as the EMP used, and the kills all going the way here of Ex Oblivione, but it's a tough one to hold on to as the tanks are still alive and those staggers will come out. Rene stuck demeched now, and the tanks are just unable to be killed right now, and it's going to be a pretty big stagger.
But
Fido able to close it out.
Mesnik didn't need to pop the Primal, and so Ex Oblivione, they've still got tools to that tool belt. If you're Vox Nihili, yes, you only need to win one fight, but you're coming into this with a Primal Rage, and that can just be ultimate battery for the enemy team, especially if Cloud is able to connect a hack onto the Winston. Suddenly he isn't a jumpy boy, he's a very grumpy boy indeed.
Yeah, and now back into the driver's seat is going to be Ex Oblivione at 67% though. This is not outside of the doable range for them. Mezik though, nice primal rage kill, goes down onto that. Zemain heals down. Pingu looks to follow it up with the EMP, and the kills all looking to turn up red right now. They just have to close this distance. NKZ though helping him out, knocking him into his teammates and heading their way onto the point. Ex Oblivione just need to stop this contest from coming through.
They need to get the stall out of the way, though, before Nat is able to come back and try to help the team out. Vox Nihili will still have a little bit of time to try to get a body onto point. Froakie, though, was taken out towards the tail end, so they don't have that Lucio to try to get the contest going. It's all going to be down to NKC to drop those mines on point, but he gets hacked!
Hacked and just barely able to touch now. Pingu coming in on the Doomfist. This could be bad news. Bears for the Ana going down Slay. The main heals down. Rene goes for the dive, takes out Pingu. Froakie dude as well going down, and this is not good here for Vox Nihili as the kills are starting to turn up red. Eden doing his best to hold on to every last ounce of this point that his team has, but he's not going to be able to do it as the Brigitte, they're at a hard counter. If the mines come out from NKZ, they won't be able to close that space right now. Rene though standing perfectly still, not going down to the mines, and that's the point. Taking over for Ex Oblivione.
But Vox Nihili have shown some real brainy plays of trying to make sure that they don't have to deal with some nuisances. That EMP, little bit of questionable, yes, because you used such a huge ultimate on the one Sombra, but it guaranteed that you were able to get an advantage in numbers, get bodies onto the point, and get the team fight going in your favor. You give up an EMP, but it's an ultimate that builds up insanely quickly if your Sombra is able to farm up ultimate going up against those tanks. And so it's sort of a coin flip of a decision whether or not you use it or hold on to it, but I think they made the right choice. Because if Cloud had come in, the team had been all clumped up together, all of them would have been EMP'd. Ex Oblivione, you could already see they were just waiting in the wings to just pile onto Vox Nihili if they got caught out of that one. And so Vox Nihili, they take the situation and they turn it around.
Yeah, and honestly, Vox Nihili, a good attempt. They ended up losing that map in the last series and losing it in here. I think they're just going to have to try and change up their style moving into the next map. And that's really where they start to come back as their adaptation later on in the series. But both these teams pull off the reverse sweep. So you have to assume that's going to be both of their strengths. And so who breaks here is really going to be the question, because both these teams, again, coming off of a 5-map series. So the mental game is something that you really have to start thinking about. How long can these teams last? How long can they keep this up for?
Yeah, and we have to say, we didn't get to see Ex Oblivione's previous match. We did get to see Vox's. We got to cast Vox's, and they made a couple of mistakes, because it is very interesting. They lost Busan. They made it through on a reverse sweep, but they lost Busan by a little bit of a landslide, because they came out with compositions where they had to turn around, go back to spawn, and come back with something new. they didn't make the same mistake. So this is a team who has taken what they found on the last round, looked at the mistakes they've made, and they've learned from it. We don't know what missteps Oblivione made in their beginning maps to turn it into a reverse sweep, but we still do know this is a team that really is quite daunting. And headed off into King's Row, I don't think we're going to be moving away from aggressive plays from either of these sides anytime soon.
Yeah, and it will be Kings Row on the opposite side. However, we're going to just take a couple minutes of a tech break. Shouldn't be more than 1 or 2 minutes here as we just get a couple things solved out. All right, we're back. It was a short break as promised, and it's Kings Row coming up next as we load into this game. Moxie, what kind of special stuff you want to see?
May, and a lot of it. There are so many chokes, and I can't actually believe I'm saying that myself, because whenever I load into my games, I don't want to see May. May is the last thing that I want to see on an enemy team, but no. Kings Row, May, you die, and you live, and you win, and you lose by your May play. There are so many chokes. There are so many ways that you can just punish a team if they try to go over aggressive, if they try to get out, and the disengage just isn't 100% cleanly perfect. You can manage to just lob off those legs, those little bits of scattered, fragmented enemies, and send them back to spawn a little bit after the rest of the team to get out a little bit longer on that clock.
Yeah, I've got to say, one thing I want to mention outside of just individual Mei play is the Mei versus Mei play. The counterplay between Meis on King's Row is extremely deep, and there's all sorts of really interesting strats you can pull as well. Not using your wall cooldown too early is something that's super key on this first point. Something that a lot of lower level teams get sucked into is using that wall on the very first choke, and then teams just blitz you with a wall of their own afterwards. And so things like that, and just deciding where you want to put your Mei wall when both of you have it in your toolkit, is something that gets really important here.
Yeah, so I'm a really big fan of teams holding at the point, allowing the enemy to walk through the gate, then trying to collapse in on them on the sides of the statue, waiting until they're trying to get away through the choke, and then the Mei puts the wall up on the last enemy.
Yeah, and now pushing into the map, not too much of a difference between these team comps. In fact, none at all, as both run the Lucio on alongside that Reinhardt Diva, the classic Mei McCree. Neither team opting to use their walls too early here. As the push starts to come onto the point, cut off though is 5 from the rest of his team, unable to put in the damage, but Aki just forced to back off as the point is given over here to Oblivione. Now starting to take it over, looking for one take. They do manage to get it. Aki lands a fire strike, the wall down on a Mezic, but it's not going to be good enough. Now the fight stuck in neutral. Neither team really able to do anything, but Mezic is frozen and he'll be going down first. Renee left to pick up the scattered remains of his teammate. However, they just need to get out as quickly as they can.
Vox and Nihili have such beautiful positioning when it comes to keeping their supports alive. Nat the entire time was on the high ground above that point and was either flanked by a Diva or a McCree or both. When the McCree dropped down, the Diva boosted back up and they've got 95% of a nano all because of it. So we're going to be seeing those come out pretty much immediately as soon as the other Ana pops it, and it's going to be down to Mesic and Mr. Akislays to open things up to try to just get that first beginning kill for their team.
Next, Oblivione looking to hold on with this high noon. Met is stuck behind and it finds 2. Eden cleaning it up from the opposite end. It's going to be the defense holding on.
Well, Eden picks it up, yes, but Mr. Akislays allows the play to be put into motion. Charges Mesic, so the Rhine is down on the ground, unable to put the shield up and save the team. Beautiful play coming out from Vox Nihili. But this is where we get to see this real proper slugfest of the fight, Joe. Both of these Meis have blizzards, neither of these Lucius have sound barriers. If the Diva doesn't get defense matrix, this point is gonna be getting pretty chilly.
Well, I think that's it. That's the thing to watch is the Divas. One of these Divas is bound to land a defense matrix. They know the blizzards are up based on one another's timings, and so there's a lot of counterplay to be had. Fi opting for the high noon on the high ground, looking for the kill through the barrier, barely not going to find it though, but Mezic with a fire strike to end it on his own, finding 2. Deadeye takes NKZ out of his mech, and now the point takes over. Make it 2, looking to make it 3. Aki can't even make it to point before he gets taken out. Froki holding on for dear life, but that's all she wrote right now for that first point.
Well, it's going to be all she wrote for that first attempt at a team fight as well. Oblivione are just going to be trying to get all of this free real estate on the street space. They don't want to fight out the nightmare that is that second choke on King's Row, pushing back Vox Nihili so that they can't get this next contest properly going. Pingu does have this blizzard, can try to put a stop to it, especially with don't want to do that though, with Fi managing to pick out NKZ of that mech. Gonna be waiting just a little bit longer for this next team fight.
Yeah, Vox Nihili, they will get a pretty early hole here, but Cloud looking to take it out early, drops the blizzard. Mr. Aki going down, but not able to be taken out. The nano used to save his life, but this bomb could be huge, not finding anybody. Fi instead finding Eden down in the back line. Pingu takes out Cloud. In reverse, though, the Mei down means a lot of that sustain is now gone here for the side of Oblivione. Now pushing back onto the cart is finally some control here for Vox.
Well, it could be, but it looks like Oblivione might be able to pull this one back. Mr. Akislays and Nat are not going to be long for this world, and that payload is going to be moving once again. But Vox, they're going to be looking at the ultimates they've got currently in their bank, and they're going to be feeling pretty good about this next fight, though. Mesic only has the Shatter to try to get things opened up for Oblivione. On the other side, Vox Nihili have the advantage. They have the leg up when it comes to ultimates. They have the advantage when it comes to staying power because they have all of that power purely on their side.
And keep an eye out for this Shatter bomb combo. The bomb goes down in the back. He's forced to turn his shield, and then the Shatter comes down. No! It's gonna be stopped, and he manages to get it though, finally putting Fi down onto the ground, taking him out. The high noon unavailable. Now Eden now using his here for Vox Nihili on the defense. Just holding on to it though, just keeping it as a threat. Slay now forced to use his nano boost to keep Mezic alive, and they want this point and they want it now. Aki though getting his own nano, trying to swing through, but no contest able to happen here. Oblivione forced to back up and just regroup as best they can. Aki pushing his way out, but it's NKZ who finally finishes off the kill.
Yeah, but the team will not be staggered out. Lovely Maywell coming out from the side of Clyde to make sure that the disengage is clean and they don't lose anyone other than Slay. There was a chance before the Ana went down that Oblivione were just going for a little bit of a feigned disengage, and Clyde would be able to try and put that blizzard in when Vox Nihili tried to pile in on them. punish that over-aggression, but that is not going to happen. Ana goes down. They don't want to push with Blizzard with only a Lucio to support them. But now that they're back at full force, those Blizzards are going to be coming out pretty quickly.
A pretty sizable ultimate advantage here for Oblivione means that they get to disengage with their Blizzard. They can re-engage with a little bit more. Renee is coming up on that self-destruct, which I think we'll see used in this next fight. But the 3 members on the high ground here for the side of Vox Nihili are going to be extremely hard to see. But Pingu goes down to the self-destruct. Mezek now will get a bit of free reign without that Mayall in his face, but Pingu as well going down means these Reinhardts are just going to be dueling as best they can. Sound barrier used from both ends. Flash lands on a 5, but a nice shatter lands on a 3. Aki ends it on his own, uses that single ultimate to take out all 6 members.
Oh, Mezek tried to go for the shatter as well, saw that Mr. Aki Slays had the nano on him, thought the Reinhardt would go aggressively to drop the shield and allow him to plant the shatter between his feet, but no, it doesn't work out. The counter shatter comes down, it's bigger, it's better, and Vox Nihili will manage to keep control of this cut as Oblivione looking at the last 40 seconds in their time bank, and the only thing they've got to try and push this next fight, so it's a nano. It's looking a little bit of a bare bank for this team as they come in to something that could be immediately just shut down. Eden has that Deadite, NKZ does have this bomb. 2 ultimates that Vox Nihili will have over the heads of Oblivione.
And pushing in, Renee almost getting caught out here. Mezek though pushing in with the nano, but Aki takes out Slay early with the fire strike. The bomb goes up, drops down, doesn't find anybody. NKZ stuck on the point. Renee and Mezek though just ignoring him, running towards the rest of his team. Now Aki, Nat, and Eden all going down. They just ran past the tanks and took out the rest of the team, but it's gonna work for Oblivione.
Yeah, NKZ actually stayed on that payload to try to make sure that it didn't move further, but that meant that the peel wasn't available for the backline, and so Oblivione just says, okay, well, your tank's over there, well, what if we just move over here? They've set up shop on that payload. They've got the maid being a little bit of a guard dog, making sure that that wall comes through to make sure that Vox Nihili do not get this contest going, and it allows them to put just a little bit more time in the bank. But with 1 minute 25 seconds on the clock, you really do have the danger of that payload stopping and not getting any further. Point C is so further in the defense favor than it is the attackers.
Yeah, and now they don't have much time to take it, but the High Noon looking to put an end to a nice Maywall disengages. Eden's turn now, dropping the High Noon, trying to speed him around this corner, gain him some sort of footing, but there might just not be enough time to do anything. Nice defense matrix from Renee, gonna deny that of any value. Pingu stuck on card, almost gets taken out by the flashbang, but a Maywall cuts him off. The rest of Vox Nihili regrouping with him though, and Aki is all colors of purple right now, though the keeping alive. Unfortunately, not gonna be able to end that charge now. The kills 2 going each way, and KZ though stuck D-Mech. His baby Diva not gonna be able to do much. It's all up to Eden now to dish out the damage and hold on to its point as best he can. Cloud though making his way forward, looking for the freeze. The boot lands, and it's Eden down the pit. Renee finishing off net. And the push continues here for Oblivione.
But they're buying time. Vox Nihili will have this Hail Mary hailstorm. Pingu is going to be coming up to that Blizzard. It can be put down on the cut. And Kara is getting so close to that sign barrier. It all comes down to this. Does that Blizzard hit? Is it defense matrix out? If Vox Nihili managed to get this one, Oblivione may not be able to pick up this final point after all.
Because they have to stay on point up against the Blizzard. Forced to back off though against Eden's Deadeye. Pingu pushing forward, trying to get this Blizzard down. But no, it's Eden! It's huge by Renee, and that's what they need. A follow-up by a 2-man shatter. The bomb is down. 6 members dead here for Vox Nihili, and Oblivione looks to end the map.
They had so many things in their arsenal. They needed everything to happen. That happened. Oh, that went beautifully. Whether it's the Eat on the Blizzard, whether it's the shatter coming through, whether it's Mezek getting the shatter down and then immediately just flicking behind him to block the bomb coming from NKZ, everything came up in Oblivione's book right then.
Yeah, and that's what you need to see out the map. Not to mention, it is an overtime though. So if Vox Nihili can put up a better push, put some time on the board, they can put themselves into a draw or win situation, which is exactly what they want. But now coming into the first point, I'm pretty sure we'll see the exact same compositions, and so not too much to change strategy-wise, but Vox Nihili just has to clean it up a little bit in their ultimate game.
Yeah, so Vox Nihili need to basically crack point A as quickly as they possibly can. It took Oblivione 1 or 2 attempts to manage to get that point in their favor and the payload rolling out, and so if Vox Nihili want to have time on their side, if they want to try to get as many seconds as they can in their clock, They want to be picking up point A faster than their opponents. And so it's interesting that you said you didn't think we'd be seeing something different. Already, I can pull my finger all the way down these compositions and point out, well, a couple of differences. Slay gonna be on the Batiste, gonna be making sure that it's extremely hard, difficult to dislodge Oblivione from this point. That immortality field, yes, it's on a 25-second cooldown now, but it still has as much of an impact as it's always had. It prevents death. If your Reinhardt gets antied, you can just lob it in and keep slashing away.
Yeah, I think the players just heard me. That's why they swap compositions. Not for any strategy. Jokes aside, though, they are going to be running out on two pretty different compositions here. The Orisa Reinhardt, something that we haven't seen too often. It was around a little bit earlier on in the meta. However, it's fallen off in favor of the Reinhardt Diva. And so now it's going to be a little bit of the old against the new, as all of Vox Nihili choosing to push around to this high ground, just trying to get themselves a better position.
Well, if you remember, Oblivione did manage to take point A off the back of taking the high ground, so Vox Nihili want to try to go for a little bit of the same approach. They're gonna try to just move in, but it's two shields to walk behind.
Oh, what a halt, though. Pulls all of Vox Nihili down onto the low ground now. Renee, though, in a bad position, gets charged out here. Mezek doing everything he can, but the kills are going down both ways right now. Froakie dude, as well as Pingu, in a duel with Slay, trying to take this Baptiste out of the equation, but they don't have much waiting for them when they get back to the point. Lucio, as well as the mage, just going to be waiting patiently for the rest of their team to arrive, while Oblivione is just forced to back off.
They have to. They do not have those veins of support necessary to try to contest the full force of Vox Nihili, who have now moved on to the point, already one tick given up. Oblivione don't really have many ults to their name. They do have that shatter from Mezek, and they know it's not going to be blocked by a Maywell. Do have to contest with Mr. Aki Slay's shield.
There's the shatter, comes out, picks up NKZ. Froakie dude, though, takes out Kara before anything happens. The DMEC goes down. One tank and one support down each. Pingo, though, gets the nano. This freeze is going to be coming down quick, and a great anti-nade lands down onto two members here of Oblivione. And this could be it. This could be Vox Nihili taking point A.
Yeah, I mean, if you're running the Orisa into a Diva, it's always that really weird matchup. Supercharges can be a very impactful ultimate, can buy you so much time because teams just disengage as quickly as they hear it go down. But if you're up against the Diva can eat the halts. And that is where you find the strength of the Orisa Reinhardt duo. You have the Orisa halt them, the Reinhardt fire strikes, get so much charge for both of your two tanks. Defense Matrix denies both of those two opportunities. So you are going to be seeing Rene only just trying to get those signed superchargers online so Oblivione can get this proper contest going.
Yeah, and fairly similar ultimates coming out from both sides, but one thing to keep an eye on. Oh my god, it's the shatter from Aki in the back line, finding three. Mezek, though, cleans him up with ease, catching him right out of position. Mezek now looking to clean this fight up. Pingu, though, with the Blizzard, is making it worth it. And now the sounder used from Froakie, dude. He had the advantage before the game, and he's going to use it now as the kills all turn up blue.
Well, Vox Nihili just gave Oblivione a lesson in why you check your corners. Aki Slays was just waiting in the fox and the bear. Cunning as a fox, deadly as a bear, brings the hammer down on the unsuspecting heads of Oblivione and manages to get a very quick teamfight win off it. But Cloud still has a hold of this Blizzard. Oblivione don't want to give this fight up just yet.
Not quite. They will get one more hold, but the bomb is dropped in the back line. Could find something. Not quite. Fi takes out Froakie, dude. Cloud makes it another one, and Oblivione look to put a stem to the bleeding right now. Eden takes out Mezek for his troubles, but it's probably not going to be enough here. Is not doing the best he can. Drops the nano onto NKZ, trying to hold on to the point, but in fact, he'll just get DMEC immediately. Eden left alive on the McCree. Can't do much, but a flashbang right click on Kara.
Yeah, unfortunately now it takes just a little bit of travel time, and the Diva mech came unmech'd before the nano could properly land, and so just fell in air. Didn't find anything, and they won't have it to put a little bit of extra power behind Eden's Deadeye. If you're Oblivione, you're very happy with yourselves because you've got Fi who has that Deadeye, and you've got Mezek who has a Shatter who can set up this beautiful combination where you have the cleanup availability open to you that just is not there for Vox Nihili.
Yeah, Oblivione want to end this fight, and they want to end it early before Vox Nihili can get that Blizzard up. Pingu's looking to charge. He's at 87% right now. High noons are dropped from both sides. Mezek is stuck with the anti-nade. He could be going down very quickly here, though. Aki gets flashed, gets taken out, and Oblivione end that one very quickly.
Mezek predicts the drop down absolutely beautifully and brings the shadow down at just the right time. Mr. Akisei just is not able to block it. But if you're Vox Nihili, you are coming in with a Blizzard. This is the game changer. You just have to bleed out both a Science Barrier and an Immortality Field out from your opponents. No easy task, but you can still do it. You can pressure the Batiste down. You know that you're not worrying about that D.Va. There's no defense matrix. It's just those two things to try to pull away, and both of them have hefty cooldowns.
With 1 minute and 40 seconds on the clock, they're facing the same thing that Oblivione did on their attack. A very threatening second point here. NKZ trying to buy his team a little bit of space, but Mezek is staying strong on that high ground. Needs to drop for the rest of his team, but Pangu finally drops that Blizzard. A great immortality field, though. Keeps the Reinhardt up for a good bit of time, but he will go down eventually. They do have to end this fight, though. The Amplification Matrix used. Slay finds one onto Aki. Another one onto Froki. Dude, he's looking to do it all on his own with Fi firing through the Amplification Matrix. This could be a very solid hold.
NKZ's attentions were turned when Amplification Matrix came down, which meant D.Va wasn't there to defense matrix the damage. And now Oblivione, there's 1 minute in the clock. They just have to hold this payload on for a little bit longer. They've got so many things as well. They can just immediately push Vox Nihili away. The Blizzard, the Deadeye, the Superchargers, they've got so many things. And Vox Nihili, they don't have the one thing they need to combat all of them. They don't have that sound barrier.
Yeah, only at 71%. It's not looking too high here. Oblivione has 3 ultimates on the board that could all end this fight in their own right. But it's going to be whether or not Vox Nihili can get on top of them in the Orisa. The Bongo used the Blizzard as well, dropping directly on top of them. It's going to be easy disengage, though, here coming out from Vox Nihili. Just going to back up calmly away from that. Pingu nearly going down. Nice defense matrix keeps him alive. Now it's their turn to push. It's all on Vox Nihili. They use the high noon. The purple lands. Eden takes out Slay. And now pushing forward, Froki looks for the boop onto Mezek. Not able to find it. This cart continues for next Oblivione. Unforgiving, unrelenting, not going to be giving up this point anytime soon. The Reinhardt has to back up, get that health back, tries to charge across, but he whiffs, and that's the Reinhardt effectively out of this fight for another 5 seconds. Has to back around awkwardly. Eden going to take advantage of that one, takes out Cloud. This fight could be going their way. Just losing members slowly. Aki finally taking out another one. It is just slow bleed here out from Oblivione.
If you're Oblivione, you are looking back at that preemptive Blizzard and you are, oof, that is an ultimate that you do want back. Cloud should have it back pretty soon, though. Already 50% to the next one, having just thrown it out in the last team fight. Goes to show exactly how much that Mei has been doing. But Vox Nihili, they've already got that Blizzard. They've already got it packaged and parceled and ready to put into the front line of Oblivione. Again, they just need to pressure Slay enough, pull out that immortality field, or at least pressure down the team when it comes out.
And ending this, everyone's like, oh my god, NKZ finds 4 with the self-destruct. They have to close this fight out. They need to push to the end of the map as soon as possible before the stall comp comes out, because getting this done before that minute is off the clock is so pertinent. The wall keeps 4 members out. They might not get the touch. Rene pushes forward, gets to the cart just in time. Eden gets the nano boost. He's taken out a mech though. And now it's all about the stagger. Mezek gets the charge. Fi takes out Mr. Aki Slayer, and that's the main tank down. And the stagger starting to pay off here. They've got to end this fight, but Cloud drops the Blizzard onto the point. NKZ gets frozen up, and with 16 seconds left, they have to end it here if Oblivione want any chance of winning this map. They've got 4 members left alive. Ready, pushing forward, looking to make it 3, but no kills going down. Froki looks for a boot, but Rene's not going anywhere. Pingu, the next man to go down here, and this could be the push ending. Aki gets back to point, but he gets absolutely destroyed, booped into the hole. That's going to be all the members gone. Froki looks for the recontest, but that's going to be it. Vox Nihili, get the hole, get the stagger, and get the overtime. Down, they take map 2.
Oblivione showing why they are to be feared. It is a gauntlet going up against this team, and there's one big force behind that, and that's Fi. But pausing just a second, we have to appreciate this bomb because so much went into this bomb to make it work. I cannot really go over it without the visual representation there to say. So the wall comes on through, the D.Va manages to arc it over just in time. The wall collapses so that they collapse it early. They know that Oblivione are trying to hide behind that Mei wall, and they just say, okay, well, ours is directly on top of yours, so what if we just immediately crumble ours down? Yours is in the falling animation, and you are all now exploded.
And great stuff there coming out of Vox Nihili, evening it up. You mentioned it at the beginning of the series. This one could easily go to 5-5, and right there at the end, that kind of shows the depth of May play that we can see, and a lot of it comes down to that May versus May. The walls going on top of each other, very close to one another, going perpendicular in a lot of these plays in order to block certain things. And what happens in a lot of that is that players will get mixed up. They'll see a wall, they'll think it's safe, and then the next second is just not there. And it could be yours, it could be the enemy team's. But at the end of the day, it was Vox and Healy who put one out that was just an absolute banger comboed with that bomb.
I mean, that's one that you are going to go back and clip for all of eternity. Put that in a highlight reel. Just frame it on your wall. It is beautiful. It is art. Get that framed and in the Louvre.
Yeah, now we're headed to Havana for the next map. However, the teams are going to need a little bit of a 5-minute break. So I think we'll head there with them. We'll see you guys in just a little bit. All right, everybody, welcome back. It's map 3 of this riveting game we've got coming out for you. It's Oblivione versus Vox. Oblivione currently in the driver's seat, sitting at 2 wins to Vox Nihili's 0. And so it's going to be a tough Havana map coming up next, but it is Havana that's being picked. Moxie, what you seeing coming for us?
Okay, so I promised you a little bit in the downtime that we might be getting a little bit of a Widowmaker versus Widowmaker rift, because in the closing minutes of King's Row, we didn't really get to talk about it because everyone was just losing their minds over that Diva Bomb. Fi came up absolutely massive for the team. So Fi is one of probably the best Widows that I've really got to see myself. Such a monster on that DPS. So he just locks into Widowmaker, goes onto the sides of the King's Row, knows that all of Vox's focus is on that payload, making sure that they're not stepping off it. No one is worrying about the Widowmaker in the background. You don't want to sleep on any Widowmaker, but Fi, oof, he's just going to have that bullet sending a high five to your head. And moving into Havana, after you've just come off a free K, after immediately swapping to the Widowmaker, if you're on attack, if you're on defense, you're still trying to convince your team to let you run that DPS.
Yeah, I think a lot of these DPS players really want to show what they have, and they do have the flexibility. Not everybody is meant for May jail as it would be right now, and so a lot of these players really want to flex their muscles because a lot of them are just stuck playing this McCree and stuck playing these other things, and so maps like Havana are really a great place for them to come out and show what they've got.
Yeah, most particularly A and C. Not so much B. If you manage to secure A, you normally tend to see that Widowmaker swap off to that McCree, to that old faithful May McCree, Reaper, anything that really gets that payload rolling. But then again, when it gets to C, suddenly you're finding yourself once again the long sight lines when you have that advantage, when you can try and just poke damage in from afar, perhaps pick up a headshot. Well, you can just move in, try and take that low ground fight for your own.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the struggle though. When you're running one composition across all of Havana, there's actually a point in time where teams were swapping on and off of different compositions for different points on Havana because they are so variant. And so the first point being so sniper heavy, there was a lot of Orisa Reinhardt run and stuff like that. And then you swapped over to the Diva specifically for the second point, then swapped back onto an Orisa for the third point because the sightlines are so long and just so difficult to deal with. The second you started getting held there, but now everybody's got this Reinhardt Diva composition on lock, and just closing that distance as fast as you can has become the main priority, and just denying those long sidelines as best you can.
Yeah, but you do have to remember, if that Diva is away trying to deny a long sightline, then she is not there to peel for either her support or her tank. So yes, you can sometimes struggle a little bit trying to run with those long sightlines, trying to keep control of that high ground as something that isn't that Rein Diva. But if you can manage to just keep her focus away from the team, like we've been seeing in the last couple of matchups between these players, just trying to keep the Rein's focus, the Diva's focus, making sure that things can get past that defense matrix and that shield, well, you can have the rest of your team move in to someone who doesn't have their off tank around.
That's exactly what you can do, but Oblivione might actually be looking for something a little bit different here. This Wrecking Ball is probably going to change into a Reinhardt. You have to assume so, given the rest of their composition. However, coming out on the other side, it's pretty standard stuff, and so far it's been an absolute slugfest between these two Reinhardts. It's tough to say because a lot of it comes down to how well their teams are supporting one another. Cloud and Pingu have been neck and neck in this May duel so far. And so now pushing out of the spawn, it's exactly what we saw in the last series. Whoever can get out of this door sooner is going to be at a massive time bank advantage.
Yeah, and if you're the defending side, you have to be so careful about how you go about this, because if you lose one person, you immediately have to back away. The respawns will be so much closer for Oblivione in this engagement.
Yeah, Maywall's come out, cut off is the Reinhardt of Mr. Aki, but a great anti-nade lands onto 4 members here of Oblivione. This could spell disaster, but Renee takes out 2 first trouble, even though takes out Slay. NKZ is demeched and taken out though, and turning it right back around is going to be Oblivione.
Eden's anti is huge, but the cleanup coming off the side of Slay's anti is bigger. And Oblivione will get that cart moving almost immediately. You can see them moving up, perhaps wanting to take that high ground so that Vox Nihili cannot go for a little bit of that dead eye May wall approach that you're seeing a couple of teams prone to at this point in time. They are going to have a little bit of a slugfest though. You can see Vox Nihili going to go onto the high ground. Oblivione didn't deny that one, so the team can still try to drop down onto this payload and contest it before it turns that next corner.
Yeah, I like this a lot coming out from Vox Nihili, and it establishes Eden on this high ground so well. He doesn't need that Maywall to help him out anymore. Him and the Ana can both just thrive up there, dishing out so much damage, while Aki and NKZ just contest the point. There it is, the Deadeye used from high ground. It can dish out a lot of damage to the shield, and in fact it will. Renee getting demech tier 5, forcing the players off, and a great wall forces players up. Eden gets a little too aggressive on the peak and goes down for it. NKZ now taking the nano boost, chasing down members here of Oblivione, but it might be too little too late here, as Fi is just dishing out the damage for free on this McCree. Aki reestablishing himself on this cart, but it might be too little too late. Slay goes down. The Shatter though takes out 2. Pengu finds 1 onto Fi, and now this fight looking in favor of Vox Nihili as the Blizzard goes down and they look to stabilize.
Yeah, Rennie tried to boost towards it to eat it, but I think only ends up caught in the action because of it. And now you are going to see, though, Oblivione having this Blizzard online, going to be able to play it pretty well if they manage to time it. As NKZ puts in that bomb, Clyde can put in that Blizzard, knowing that they then only have to worry about putting down that sound barrier.
But it's a matter of dodging NKZ's defense matrix. He's done it once, he'll do it again, but he chucks the bomb, and that negates the fact that he'd have a defense matrix. In fact, he completely disallows it now. The Blizzard goes down, Pingu goes down, but a charge out of Aki takes out Mezik, and now all of a sudden, Oblivione's players are just in the Vox Nihili backline, and it's a tough time for them to come back from this one.
Vox Nihili backline is apparently stuck in their front line at the moment as well. NKZ going to be trying to keep themselves alive on the point for as long as they possibly can, but that will be that. D.Va cannot survive much long against a full team, especially when the main tank has returned ready to the fight. And Vox Nihili, because they were so scattered and fragmented out, they're not going to be able to contest this payload as it rolls into that first point. Now Oblivione, they can go aggressive. They have that nano, they have that bomb, and worse, they have Fi, who has that Deadeye and will be looking for a little bit of a flank to try to set it up.
In Vox Nihili, though, they do manage to get decent spawns, so they get to hold this high ground here, which is very advantageous given Eden has his Deadeye. Fi also has his, but he's going to have a much harder time using it from the low ground. Renee does have the self-destruct, but Slay's nano boost will be huge here. Bomb goes up, it finds Froakie, dude, and that means that no advancement will be made towards the sound barrier, which is going to matter a lot more going into future fights here, as it's Vox Nihili just forced to back off.
The bomb landed on the wall! Clyde sets it up, Rennie lands it perfectly, and unfortunately Froakie dude is just caught in the crossfire. Vox Nihili do still have a little bit of a contest coming in. They won't have that sound barrier, no, for when Clyde has that Blizzard, which can be the difference in this next fight if the one that comes online and the other doesn't.
Oh, but both Reinhardts are nanned, and it's a Rein fight right now as these hammers look to just go through one another, but neither able to do it. In fact, Cloud looking like a bit of a pacifist, just walling both Reinhardts off, opting not for anybody to fight. Fi, though, is searching for it himself. The Blizzard comes down on a point from both sides, and freezing up is Aki, forced to charge, gets Mezik, and this could be the Reinhardt going down for the side of Oblivione. In fact, it will be. Not, though, trades it out. Kara finds one on Eden, and now NKZ out of mech. This is gonna be Oblivione looking to close out this fight. It's 4 versus 5 right now. Closing the distance, it's Renee just trying to gain some sort of point presence, but the fact that Aki is alive is so important here. Renee goes down, and Cloud could be a bit of great sound barrier, keeps him alive. He is, however, anti-nated, and he's taking a lot of damage. Aki back stuck in a Maywall, unable to help his team as Mezik reestablishes himself on the point. The nano goes back down on the Reinhardt. We're seeing these nanos just pop up left and right, gaining them every fight. Rennie gets the melee down on Eden, takes him out, and a great wall puts Aki in a horrible position. Mezik being the unstoppable force and the immovable object of Aki will lose that battle, and now there's only a Mei and a baby D.Va left alive on point. That's not going to be enough to hold.
And the Oblivione, they have all of the tools that they possibly want at their disposal to make sure that this payload just keeps rolling towards that fortress. Mezik's got the shots, and Mr. Akislay's used theirs in the last fight, so won't have the counterplay ready to go on. Again, it's all going to really fall down to Froakie, dude. Has to keep the sound barrier for so many things that they're going to want to use it up against. So either you put your trust in defense matrix, or you stack them, and stack them comes with a risk.
Oh, and it's huge! The Deadeye finds 2, getting a little too over-aggressive. Vox Nihili thought they were safe, thought their bomb bought them enough space, but they couldn't be further from the truth.
It's again the play. Mezek charges Mr. Aki Slayers to make sure that Fi can put the Deadeye in without worrying about the Reinhardt shield. Oblivion have done this on King's Row, have done this on Havana, and have found success both times with it. Now they can roll that payload in just a little bit closer. Trying to get it through the choke is going to be the real difficulty for this team, but they have a Blizzard, they have a bomb shatter combo, they have so many things. Vox Nihili is going to be left wanting just a little bit in this next fight.
And still plenty of ultimates in the tank. They're going to chuck out the self-destruct first. Doesn't find anybody with the Blizzard to follow it up. There's a lot of space. Kara finds one on Eden. The Blizzard used in reverse, though. Method gets frozen. He's purple. It's not looking healthy for him. He's taking a lot of damage, but he's not going to be going down quite yet. NKZ, along with his Lucio, contesting the cart. Froky Dude finding a kill in the back line. Method, though, looking to clear up the front alongside Cloud. This three-man hit squad running all through this third point, but Eden has the death eye from the high ground, coming just on spawn, manages to find Kara. And it might just be a numbers game right now. There's only 4 members alive on cart here for Oblivione. If they can get more coming quickly, the shatter misses from Mezek, and it's gonna be a great purple grenade landing onto the rest of his team. The shatter comes out, finds Fi. The dead eye man could be going down. Aki Slayer finds just enough to restabilize here for Vox Nihili.
I love Vox Nihili swaps. Froky Dude goes off the Lucio and onto the BT so that they don't have to build up that Stein Barrier. Immediately gonna swap off now because that's the danger done. You just need an Immortality field in the clutch of the moment. Eden looks like they're gonna be staying on Widowmaker though. Has such a nice sightline onto all of the places that Oblivione are gonna be trying to walk down. Nope, gonna be swapping onto McCree, trying to make sure that they don't get dived by a little bit of an over-aggressive diva.
And NKZ has the bomb, which can buy a lot of space on this card, especially when that overtime comes down. Reinhardt's charge one another, but it's Aki Slayer going down first. Mezek pushes forward to the point, pardon me. And he's all colors of purple right now, but Renee, Fi are just running through this Vox Nihili roster right now. It's a stagger for stagger right now, but the bomb on point could be big. Finds 2, and that's the hole they need. Renee takes out Froky Dude, but now the stagger comes in. The overtime push has to be perfect. Their target calling has to be perfect. Their composition needs to pull through. Renee finds one on Eden, another one on to Pingu. It's staying solid here for Oblivione. They drop their own bomb on the point. NKZ not gonna be going down yet though. The stagger still there. Froky comes back on the point. Fi finds the hack that he needs. NKZ out of the mech. And they're just so close right now, 2.43 meters away. 1 and it ticks down. That's enough to take the map for Oblivione.
So when Vox Nihili come up huge with those stagger picks when they're trying to defend, so too do Oblivione come up huge with picks to counter what Vox Nihili are trying to make sure that it stops the payload. The Sombra play means that the Hammonds cannot just spin and spin and spin and spin away until the rest of your team are dead and gone. It is actually beautiful to see because, yes, EMP builds up so quickly. Yes, abilities can be cancelled out completely. And yes, Sombra can get out of spawn and back into the fight. Translocate, sprint when she's in stealth. There are so many reasons why you would bring a Sombra out. And I am so happy to see that Oblivione and Vox Nihili were both on top of the picks that they should be coming out with when it was really that matter of time burning down.
And it's showing you just how deep these teams' mental games are, that they're able to think that strongly about their compositional picks this late. Remember, these teams both came off of a 5-game series, off of reverse sweeps, and you've got to understand just how difficult it is to keep your mental going at that rate for that long, and showing how well they've been able to continue on in this series is truly impressive.
I mean, both, like, no one is making any sloppy mistakes. We're not really seeing positioning errors. We're seeing stellar positioning from supports. The thing that's messing people up the most is when they get caught unawares by a shatter that goes through a shield, or when a diva bomb lands somewhere it probably shouldn't have, but somehow, through laws of the universe and Overwatch physics, managed to. Everyone is playing at the absolute top of their game today. I can't point to any of these players and say, no, they're the weak link of this team.
I thought we might get the Soldier 76 out of Eden, but instead he goes back onto the Rusty Trusty McCree as they make their way out around this cart. A little bit of an interesting rotation though, as they make their way out and around into a more advantageous position, but Aki gets a massive anti-nade on top of him as well though. One lands right back down onto Oblivione. Not really going to be capitalized on though. Renee, the only member to go down, so they're going to try and hold on to this point a little bit longer.
Well, Nat goes down at the tail end of that fight as well, so it's going to be Vox Nihili staying in spawn for just a little bit. Oblivione are still managing to keep them at the spawn doors, trying to build up to that first Deadeye, that first nano that's really going to seal the deal. To make sure that Vox Nihili just do not get to see that payload moving past that petrol station.
And they've already seen a minute go off the clock. Aki is getting Maywalled left and right. It's all on Cloud right now, who's been playing fantastically. And Aki's just under so much pressure. But 2 kills finally go the way. Make it 3 going the way of Vox Nihili finally breaking out of their own spawn.
I think that's the first misstep of positioning we've seen all match. Just Slay able to be in a position where you just get picked off first in the fight really does open things up for Vox Nihili to just pour their forces onto Oblivione. And we are going to be seeing, though, another contest coming through. Vox Nihili trying to take that high ground already. Perfect positioning once more, setting Eden up for that Deadeye to be in the perfect place. And Oblivione, they want a piece of that pie. They're coming up for this contest on that same ground.
Yeah, they want to fight for it, and Oblivione aren't going to give it up very easily. The Diva comes out, but this could just be Renee getting DMAXed immediately here. The Blizzard use it on the high ground. Eden takes out Slay. NKZ, another one down on the Cloud, and the kills all going the way here of Vox Nihili as they continue their first point escapade.
And Mesic and Mr. Akislays all through that fight, they just got charged away from the team, allowing the main tanks to just hack away at each other on the sidelines while the rest of their team just tries to fight over that hallowed high ground. There is a Lucia, you can see Brokey just waiting on that window to see where Oblivion are going to be coming from. Doesn't really need to contest that much.
And that's it. The Blizzard gets eaten, and Renee now DMAX. This is probably going to be, yep, there it is. With nothing to contest the Deadeye, it's going to be big enough to end this point on its own.
That is, you put in so much as well if you're Oblivione. You forked out a Blizzard, you forked out a Nano, and a Shattered. Those are ultimates that you are not going to have for this next fight. It allows Vox Nihili to, again, just outcycle ultimates now. Pingu is going to get to that Blizzard so much faster than Cloud is, unless Cloud absolutely pops off. Again, you do have to worry, though. Defense Matrix is a thing in the game. It's not just that soundbar. It's not just that annoying ultimate. We've seen Eats today before. And if you can get that ultimate, well, you might be able to get your foot back into that ultimate economy.
And now just trying to make their way towards this point, Oblivione are trying to gain some sort of ground, but with that high ground given away to Vox Nihili, it's going to be a pretty solid advantage. They can play under this bridge for a while, but the wall lands on the Mesic. He's in a little bit of a rocky situation here as Pingo tries to drop onto him. Axler waiting for his opportunity, though, just waiting above on the rafters. Searches for it, the bomb comes over, but it lands on top of the bridge, so it doesn't find anybody now. Renee drops the self-destruct of his own, tries to push down off the high ground, but not able to do it quite in time. Cloud now stuck purple, the Blizzard coming out here from Pingu, looking close to fight out. In fact, it will. Eden cleaning it up with the headshots.
Yeah, if you're Oblivione, you're just trying to burn out as much time as you can. If you're running, out goes the mech, out goes the baby Diva, and along with it, the Mei. Cloud coming up to this Blizzard, though. We have seen that can just immediately stop fights in their tracks, but Eden has this Deadeye, Nat has this Nano. We like to call it the Electric Cowboy. It's been a combination we've seen coming out more than a couple of times, and I'm sure we're going to get to see it here today.
Oh, Fi gets it first, though. He wants the Deadeye. But everybody's just hiding behind this single pallet. The strongest pallet in all of Overwatch defends from a whole Deadeye. Now it's Eden's turn, and they're just going to wait behind the wall, but the carrot continues forward. They have to contest at some point here. Renee runs forward with the defense matrix. In fact, NKZ, though, with his own, going to be eating the Blizzard. Renee now DMAX in this cart is gonna be continuing because NKZ is now DMAXed. Eden finds more onto Renee, and Eden, I've got to say, is just dishing out the damage. There's 3 members left alive on cart here for Oblivione, and they're gonna start finding kills, or else you face the cowboy of Eden.
I mean, yeah, they're still fighting this one out, though. Cloud clawing it back for Oblivione, forcing Vox Nihili to try to dive. Just this composition that's stuck in a corner.
Wow, and just forced right back. Vox Nihili don't have the damage to pull through. Cloud and Mesic have a lot of sustained potential between the Reinhardt, between the Mei. It's not able to close it back. I think Vox Nihili are just going to say, you know what, we can fight another day, and they might have made the right decision here because they have a lot of ultimates coming online. That Blizzard's coming right up, 99% for Pingu. And they're going to push to engage early here. Aki has the Shatter as well if he wants to use it. Blizzard comes down, the support as well. Slay the main heals taken out here for the side of Oblivione. Aki all over Mesic right now. The sound barrier keeps him alive. Nice shatter block from Mesic, though. Continues the hold, and that's enough time bought for Fi and Cloud to clean up.
Oblivione just rally around their main support staff and still manage to just pull out the kills when they're properly needed. If you're Vox Nihili, you're listening to that 60 seconds left, you're thinking about the blizzard that you just put in. You should have won the fight off that, and it is just a stellar play of Oblivione that allowed them to just not push that payload any further. They've got a bomb, they've got a nano, and they're going to have a Deadeye to open things up, but they have to be so careful about how they play this. We've seen blizzards be put in when the Diva bomb comes out. We can see it again.
The self-destruct comes in from the back. Slay gets taken down, jumping off the high ground. Aki now frozen with the nano. The self-destruct though used in the room, but all the ultimates pulling up one kill at a time. Eden finds one with the Deadeye. Froky dude looking to clean up, and this point is all but over right now because Vox Nihili continue throughout Havana.
Yeah, they are going to be reaping a huge sigh of relief and moving away from the edge of their seat, as I'm sure we are too, because that could have been curtains for Vox Nihili. They need to get this point, remember, though. This is match point for them. If they lose this next map, they do not get that chance of a reverse sweep, and their hopes of Overwatch division, at least for this season, are going to be gone. Oblivione going to be looking to shut them down as quickly as they possibly can. Slay has the nano, which can be immediately put onto the back of Mezek if the shatter comes up huge.
And that's going to be the name of the game here. Aki used his shatter a little bit badly in that last fight, and so now Mezek's going to be trying to force out the mistakes, and the sports are all open, but it's Fi cleaning up all on his own, showing Eden that he can do it too right now. Eden though trading one back. Slay cleans up Froky dude, and that should be the end of this push from Vox Nihili. 52 seconds on the clock and not much time to play with.
And they kept the shatter in the pocket. They're gonna have it for when Vox Nihili want to try to get this next approach, and Fi has the Deadeye. If you are Vox Nihili, you need to play this perfectly. You need to make sure NKZ does not get caught out by the shatter, so the Diva has to be separate from the Rhine.
There is a shadow lands on a Pingo. If Pingo goes down, that means there's no blizzard. Oh, he barely stays alive, but Aki gets the anti-nade. He's down to 1 HP, but Nat is doing his darndest to keep him alive. Kara, great peel for his own backline as both teams opt for the neutral. Fi, though, dropping the Deadeye in. Looks to make it big, but Mayball gonna step that one immediately. Dropping the self-destruct into the backline, though. This could be dangerous. Blocked. Five gets the better of Eden now. He has the off angle that he wants. Blizzards, though, used from both sides. Cloud finding it, but the Sounder keeps his team alive. And Casey finally takes out Methika with the main tank down. Aki Slayer, though, still does have the nano boost, but Vox Nihili continue on in overtime.
Yeah, but they can't now leave that payload. They're going to have the one ultimate currently on the board, but if you look over at the charges Oblivione are currently sitting on, they are so much closer to the majority of ultimates than Vox Nihili. Eden is 48%. Fi is going to hit that Deadeye within the first couple seconds of this fight. And Vox Nihili, they can't move away. It has to be defense matrix because they can't leave that payload, otherwise that overtime tick will just burn down and away, and they will be out of open division.
Yeah, and we talk about a slugfest. This fight's going to be an all-out brawl here as the losing team here is going home, and Vox Nihili's on match point. But Fi ends it with a Deadeye. This could be it. Overtime nearly takes over. Pingu stuck on the card. 3 members alive. Make it 2, and Vox Nihili is counting down to their own doom.
That is it. Oblivione will take it. At the end of the day, they were just so much closer to the ultimates that they built up, were able to hit them, and poor Vox Nihili, because it was that overtime, they just couldn't move away from the payload. They weren't able to get that natural cover that you really desperately want. They had to put tools in of their own. They had to put the defense matrix in, the Rhine shield, both crack apart, and you're just left with, well, an empty payload.
And that's going to be the match. Oblivione putting on a fantastic display of longevity, creativity, and everything that they needed to just close out that series. They caught Vox Nihili off guard so many times with so many really creative plays, and those mid-fight calls using the ultimates mid-fight. A lot of these fights were just going, one team uses ultimates, one team disengages properly, and then it just broke down into an all-out slugfest like we mentioned, and that's when it started to come into Oblivion's favor because of their mid-fight calling ability and their target calling there. They're able to close out those fights much more effectively and take home the win.
I mean, my favorite play has got to go to Cloud. So basically, every time the Blizzard came through from XO when there was a Diva bomb available for Vox, Cloud just waited until the bomb came out, knew that the Diva would be in baby form, wouldn't be able to get that defense matrix going. And I counted twice, possibly even 3 times, that the Blizzard came out just as the bomb comes in. The trust that XO put into the team that they wouldn't be killed by the bomb, that they would be able to capitalize on such an important ultimate, boggles the mind, but they managed to pull off the play every single time. that's not to say that Vox Nihili were a bad team. They came out, they put out all of the stops. The positioning that we saw from all of them was absolutely stellar. The anti-nades that were coming out from the Anna, I have to give my compliments to the chef. It was just that there was not enough cleanup, there wasn't enough follow-up. So if EXO were able to land a move, it just tended to have a bigger impact on the game.
And so with that win, EXO do move on to the losers finals, which we will be bringing to you in just a bit. But for right now, I think that's all Moxie and I have for you today. We're going to be subbed out here for a little bit. So I've been Door, and this has been Moxie. Have a great day.